As our story opens today, let us return once more to the bleak prairie town of Cactus Junction. It was here, you'll recall, in the old Longhorn Saloon, that we left Crusader Rabbit engaged in a fight to the finish with Granite Jaw Jones, the roughest, toughest man in the entire county. Crusader's sole supporter was his strong but timid friend, Rags the Tiger, who peeked anxiously in through a nearby window. Rags might well be anxious, too, for at that moment, Crusader was in a rather ticklish situation.
All right, Cottontail, say your prayers.
Then, just before Granite Jaw could pull the trigger, bingo, the saloon was suddenly plunged into darkness. It sounded bad for Crusader, but when the lights came on once more, the cactus crowd could hardly believe their eyes. There was the tiny rabbit standing victoriously over his fallen foe. Just how it happened, nobody was ever able to figure out. But if it could happen to the great Granite Jaw, it could happen to any of them. So the only thing to do was to acknowledge defeat and surrender the town. And that's exactly what they did. One by one, the citizens of Cactus Junction signed the peace treaty and agreed to support the rabbits in their fight for freedom. Elsewhere throughout the state, however, rabbits were still being persecuted, and so the two warriors dared not rest. Taking their leave of the junction amidst a shower of confetti and roses, they were soon on their way. The next town they planned to hit was a place called Dead Man's Corner. Now, Dead Man's Corner had a good reason for its name. You see, it was populated by the most trigger-happy bunch of cowpokes ever assembled. Why, they'd shoot a guy just for the way he looked. And sometimes they didn't even bother looking.
Well, howdy, fellas.
Why, even the slot machine's jackpot followed the local theme.
Hey, I won!
The town had only one main industry. But believe me, brother, it certainly flourished. Let us digress for a moment, though, to a point some 5 miles east of town. It just so happened that Crusader and Rags weren't the only things speeding toward Dead Man's Corner. Sure enough, it was a Texas twister, the granddaddy of all cyclones, and it was heading right for the heart of that tough little town. Of course, Crusader didn't know about any of this, and maybe the way he was feeling it wouldn't have made any difference, because right down the main street he came, bold as all get out. Most of the town seemed to be patronizing the Tombstone Card Palace, so that's where he headed. The boys inside were enjoying a friendly little game of stud when they were startled by...
All right, you mugs, I'm gonna tear you apart, piece by piece, one by one. Who's first? Golly, did I say that?
An ominous silence fell over the room as every man reached for his gun, and then the cyclone struck. Is it possible for our tiny friend to survive both crushing wind and flying lead? Don't miss episode 9 entitled Tar and Feathers.